start off, please.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, obviously, hey, how are you feeling knowing today's potentially the day you'll just, find out whether the team's still got anything to play for tomorrow?
Yeah, it's one of those tough days where we're relying on another team to get a result for us to continue to make the top six. So it's one of those days we're going to have to sit and wait. We've got a session, and then we'll sit and wait and watch the game, and hopefully things fall our way.
Can you remember how the chant goes? Who do we sing for? We sing for.
Yeah, Wanderers. Hopefully, Wanderers do a job tonight and give us that opportunity to win our game against MacArthur and then make the top six.
Yeah, has it been frustrating watching some of these other games not go your way this week?
I think the most frustrating part was we had a good opportunity against Perth to win that game, and then would have done it our way instead of relying on other teams getting results.
Yeah, obviously you're hoping that things do go your way tonight, but if they don't, will that change anything for the MacArthur game? Will you look to play different players than you potentially would, or is it all going to be the same?
No, I want to still finish on a high. Still want to finish on a win. We'll give it everything that we have, regardless of what happens tonight. So for us, I still want to win the game against MacArthur.
And Uli obviously made his comeback against Perth Glory. Is he capable of starting this weekend?
Yeah, he's available to start. Yeah, he's available for selection. He's available to start.
Yeah, and we know that he's leaving to join MacArthur. Do you have any reservations about playing him in this game?
No, he's a professional. At the end of the day, he's getting paid by Wellington Phoenix, so we've got another game to go, and he's got to go out there and do his job.
Yeah, and I guess I know there's been like a reluctance to kind of confirm that he's going there, but I'm sure he's probably at least told you a few weeks ago that he is going. I mean, it's good news for you to stay at the club, but how tough is it, when you lose a player of that quality?
Yeah, look, Uli's been great for us. He's had two good, very good seasons for us. So at the end of the day, this is part of the game. It's part of football. If players come and go, coaches come and go, and the club will always be here. So at the end of the day, there's plenty of players out there, and it's for us to do our homework and find the next best one that suits the way that we want to play.
Yeah, were you able to kind of get a reason as to what swung it in their favour?
Look, at the end of the day, players need to make the decision what's best for them and what's best for their family. So obviously he's had his reasons of what he wants to do. So at the end of the day, we thank him for what he's done at Wellington Phoenix, and we wish him all the best.
Yeah, and I guess from his point of view, he probably wants to, go out on a winning note. I guess he had the penalty save last week. Do you feel like, he's kind of bounced back from that and is pretty eager to put in a good shift in his potential last game?
He was very disappointed after the game. Obviously, it's one of those ones where, he was a captain. He grabbed the ball. He stepped up. He wanted to take it. And unfortunately in football, and you can be a hero or a villain in a matter of seconds. So, he would have wanted to slot that penalty and win the game for us. So, this happens within football. So I'm sure he'll be, ready to go on Friday.
Yeah, and I guess in a week like this, does your mind kind of go back to potential moments in the season where, results didn't quite go your way, whether it was a late decision or, even the game against Perth on the weekend? Yeah,
you look back and you look at the games that we played and where we got hurt, we've dropped points, but that's all in the past. It's all learning, and the thing is, we can only control what's ahead of us.
Yeah, and just a final one for me before I pass it on. I guess, you look back at the season the Phoenix have had, it's been one like no other, having to be based in Australia for the majority of the season. Considering you have still, up until the final game, been in contention for the top six, how do you kind of look back on, just like the achievement of being where you are, given the challenges you face?
Yeah, look, it's been a challenging season, to be honest. At the end of the day, you know me quite well. I don't make excuses for where we're at and how we're set up and all that type of stuff. At the end of the day, I always say to my players, they've got 11 and we've got 11 on the park, so we need to go out there and do a job. Look, I don't know if we were back in Wellington would have been any different, but, I think the last 10 games have shown that when we've had our best players on the park, what this team can really achieve. So we probably got the run a little bit too late in the season. We could always look back and say, what if this happened or what if that happened? But it's all in the past now, and what we've got to do now is, for me, the most important is finish on a high against MacArthur Bulls by getting 3 points.
Cool, thanks.
G'day, Ufi. It's Kate here from News Talk ZB in Auckland. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks. And I'm sorry to keep bringing this up. Phil touched on it before about the game tonight. What exactly will you be doing? Where will you be watching it? Will you be in your own rooms, or are you watching it all together?
No, I'll be at home on my lounge, sitting and watching on TV.
Is that how you'd rather do it? Is it a bit too much suspense if you were all in the same room?
No, well, everyone will have a session today, and we'll just go as normal, have about our normal routine, and I think everyone will watch it at their own place. And we're hoping that, like I said, Wanderers do a good job tonight and get a good result, and that gives us an opportunity to play for a big game on Friday.
And although the season's not quite over yet, does it put you in really good stead looking forward to next season with what you've achieved throughout the year?
Yeah, look, where the planning in the background always happens. It doesn't start now; it's already started previously. So we're already in plans for next season and what it looks like for Wellington Phoenix and all the players that we want to keep. So, yeah, look, at the end of the day, like I said, it's been a challenging year, but I think there's been a lot of learnings from it as well. A lot of learnings for me as well about players and individuals as well. So, we can only grow from this. Like I said, hopefully a good result tonight with Western Sydney beating Adelaide, and then we got a massive game to play on Friday.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All good? Andrew,
If Josh isn't going to go, I'll jump in. Hi, Ufi. Hope you're doing good back at home. I was crunching the numbers this week. Your most popular back four you've used only 6 times in 25 matches. Your most popular front four you've used only 4 times in 24 matches.
Andrew, I love your stats, mate. Keep going. Yep.
I mean, that's a sign that you haven't, even as much as you talk about having consistent selection these last few weeks, you still haven't really had the consistency that some teams have been able to have. How hard is it though as a coach when you're constantly having to chop and change?
Yeah, it's not ideal. You always, no disrespect to the players, but you always want your best 11 on the park as much as you can, because you rely on them to try to get results and win games. It's been a challenging year in the sense of we've had a lot of injuries. At one stage, we had injuries where we had no central defenders, and at one stage we had no strikers. So, we made do with putting players in positions that they probably aren't accustomed to at times. And I think we've still done quite well in that sense, where our job is to simplify the game for the player within their role, and then they go out there and use their attributes the best they can. So that's why it's been a challenging year in that sense. I think last year we had a lot more consistency with the starting 11, and then that does help. Even when we lost our first 4 games of the season, I didn't change the squad or the starting 11, and we ended up winning our first game against Brisbane. So consistency is key, and momentum is key in football, and I think we've built that towards the back end of the season, but I think we've left it a little bit too late.
Yeah, I think, if you're saying early's available to start tomorrow night, I'm pretty sure that's probably the first time you've really had a choice between, the starting 4 you used last week and bringing him in. You haven't had to make a lot of tough choices when you've been affected by injury. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, look, to be honest, we haven't had to make a lot of choices because we didn't have a lot of players available when we had a lot of injuries. So we played the players that were available to play. So I think the last time we had Uli, Borley, Toma and Reno playing was maybe the Melbourne Victory game together that we won 4-1 in Wollongong. So this is probably an opportunity to probably get them playing together again.
I think they've only played together twice all season. So
there you go.
Sums it up. Last few weeks, obviously, we've seen Tomo really hit his straps. Also seems to have been games where Uli hasn't been playing. Do you think that's related at all that, without Uli sort of in that 10 space, Tomo's been able to drop off and do things that he perhaps hasn't, and it's been working better than it perhaps has when they've both been playing?
Yeah, I agree and I disagree at the same time. I think, look, Tomo, he's got a consecutive run of games, which has helped. Like I said, he didn't have a pre-season with us this year. We try to get him fit during the competition. We're at the same time when we're also trying to win games. He had a bit of a niggly injury with his hamstring. Then he come back and then he had a little niggly thing with his hip flexor. and now he's got a run of games. And look, his quality was always there. I think it's just more game time and adapting to obviously playing in the A-League. And now we see a great run of form, and he's scoring he scored 10 goals in 20 games now. So, that's one. It's actually less than 1 goal every 2 games at the moment that he's scoring. So in the minutes that he's played. So look, the quality was always there. It was just about getting him fit and 100%. And look, players are important. Uli plays a massive role in his position, and so does Tomo in his position. So, it's been good that he's been stepping up, and that's why we brought him into the club.
Do you want to keep him?
Yeah, we're working at the moment. We're speaking with Tomo and what he wants to do. So the plan is to continue with him.
Speaking of injuries, Reno's obviously had a tough season. He started it off injured. He's had other injuries, including that shoulder one. He's a player who you sort of brought back from Europe. He, maybe takes a season in senior football to find his feet. He's really sort of been denied the chance to really kick on this season with those injuries, hasn't he?
Yeah, the injuries have hurt Reno. I think we've seen some little glimpses this season of what he can do when he does play. I think he's a very good player, very good midfielder, very creative player, and can score goals as well. And I think we think we need him to score a few more goals for us in that role. So yeah, it's been a disappointing season for him with the injuries that he's had. But at the end of the day, look, I can't control soft tissue injuries.
Just on that, you obviously say Early's available to start. Those other injuries and the Eagles players are carrying. Has anything changed this week? Obviously, it's only been a short week. You've only trained once.
No, nothing's changed. Everyone's good. Everyone's pulled up well after the Perth game, which is great. Uli was one of those ones where he could have been out for a little bit longer than expected, but he's come back in a shorter time frame, which is he's only been out for 3 weeks and he's only missed 1 week of training. So I thought he did well when he came on against Perth, and he was moving well and he's feeling well. So everyone's available except for Luke DeVere for this game.
I know you said to Phil that your plans won't change depending what happens tonight, but someone like David Ball who's saying he shouldn't be playing, Reno who was having painkilling injections. Do those guys, do you not play them if you don't have a chance to qualify? Or
they can still play, mate. There's nothing wrong with it.
Right. And I know it's old now, but you've obviously probably had a chance to look back at the last 10 minutes of Sunday's match. I mean, have you? And having actually had a chance to watch it on video, hit pause and slow it down.
Yeah, we had it on in the office this morning again, so I decided not to watch it because it gets a little bit more frustrating every time you watch it at the end of the day. Gilly had it on his desk, and I could hear him screaming and shouting, and I said, mate, Gilly, it's already gone. So we learn from it and we move on.
Have you had a chance to talk with Strebre about that? We were told on Monday he was tied up in meetings all day.
Yeah, mate, we've done that all season, so for me it's just banging your head against the brick wall.
I take it they thought all those decisions were the correct ones.
Of course, he's always going to back up his colleagues.
I think that's about it. Cool.
Hey, Alfie, just a quick one from me, mate. Obviously, after the highs of going back to New Zealand, playing in front of such large crowds, I mean, what's the enthusiasm been like coming back to Wollongong this week?
Yeah, look, I think we had 18 days away. We played Melbourne City and we were on the road for such a long time. So flew into Wellington, flew back to play Western Sydney, and then flew back to Auckland to play the game. And I think at the end of the day, after the Perth game, I think everyone was looking forward to come back and sleeping in their own bed again that they've been accustomed to. So the highs are still there. The group is a good group, and you saw in that last 10 minutes. Against Perth, they threw everything that they possibly could to get the result. So I think everyone's glad to be back sleeping in their own bed, and they still know that there's a job to be done regardless of the result tonight. So, we, like I said, we want to finish on a high. We want to push. At the end of the day, if we miss out by a point, we miss out. But we know that we've given everything possible to try to make it.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Hey, Ufi, we saw earlier this week an Israeli club announced the signing of Stefan Marinovic. Is that a case where, you're always going to have to decide Ollie or Steph, and you just can't really begrudge him for wanting to leave to get some game time?
No, at the end of the day, look, like I said, players need to make decisions what's best for them. We've been very fortunate in the sense that we've had 2 number 1 goalkeepers at our club, and it's one of those ones where you got 2 players fighting for one position, which makes it very difficult. At the end of the day, Steph done a fantastic job for us last season. I think he was integral in the success that we had last season. This year's been challenging for him. At the end of the day, we gave him game time, and then I felt that we needed a change in that area, and Ollie's come in and done a fantastic job. So, players need to do what's best for them. At the end of the day, we re-signed Ollie thinking that, he has a bright future at this club, and Steph obviously needed to make a decision on what's best for him and best for his career.
Yeah, and I guess it kind of just happens with the A-League and with the Phoenix every year. There's lots of players off contract towards the end of the season. I guess, we have asked you quite a bit about Stephen Taylor. I guess just, we're seeing him perform on the field. He's been, your captain while Uli's out. I mean, what are we missing here in terms of the fact that he hasn't been offered a contract? I mean, is this a suggestion that you might be wanting to move on?
Phil, where does it come from where he hasn't been offered a contract? That's the thing.
You confirmed it yourself.
So I've always said that there's stuff happening in the background where we're speaking to his agent at the moment. So at the end of the day, it's a negotiation where it goes back and forth. And I'm sure we'll come to an agreement pretty soon. So we want to keep Tails, and I know Tails wants to stay at the same time. So we'll see what pans out in the next few days.
Okay. And because, we asked Cam Devlin as well. He's been a pretty strong performer for you over the past 2 seasons. I'm sure he's probably got offers from elsewhere. He said he kind of wanted to wait until the end of the season to, focus on playing. But for you as a coach that's signed on, is it hard to, when players, I'm sure they want to park that and not have it as a distraction, but also, from your perspective, I'm sure you want to get some of those guys who could be having interest elsewhere locked in for next season?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, you got to understand the game of football. So an offer has been put in front of Cameron maybe 3 months ago. He's decided to wait to see what's going to happen out there. At the same time, while an offer has been put in front of Cameron Devlin, doesn't mean that we sit on our hands and wait for Cameron Devlin to sign. We still do our work on the side, and if we find a better option that's available that we want to bring to the club, then we'll end up signing a player, and then Cameron Devlin will have to make a decision on what he wants to do.
Have you found a better option?
Mate, we'll always find a better option because we'll go out there and do our job and do our homework and make sure we recruit well. And always said this recruitment is probably the biggest part of football, is getting the right players into the right areas. So for me, I have no queries or no problem in if players decide to leave and they think that's the better option for them, then good luck to them.
All good. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Can I just check, just to finish off, sorry. Has Ben Old gone back over to Australia with you, or has he stayed at home?
No, he's back in. We thought he missed. He wasn't in the squad in Auckland, and he missed the game. So we thought it was best to he spend some time with the family up in Auckland after the Perth game, and then he's gone back to Wellington to be available to play on the weekend for the reserve team.
Is he actually available? Is there no stand down because he's played pro football?
No, because he's still underage.
Right. Oh, that's cool. I mean, is it fair to say he'll be with you when pre-season starts?
Yes.